Hi, I'm Lucy from Sew Essential and I'm here today to do a Q&A with you. So thank you so much to everybody who posted questions on our YouTube and Instagram accounts. I'm going to answer some of them today and then I'll do subsequent videos. So if yours isn't covered today, don't worry, I'm going to try and cover them in the coming weeks. As always, everything I talk about today is available on our lovely website and you'll find links to our website below. And if you like what you see, please like and subscribe, because every Friday I bring you a video packed full of sewing goodness. And if you can't wait a whole week, do jump on, have a look at our Instagram account where we share posts daily on our grid. Now, before I get started with the questions, I just wanted to say we hit a really big milestone recently on the channel. We hit 50,000 subscribers. So thank you so much to all of you for your support. I honestly mean it from the bottom of my heart. It's so encouraging to see that many people enjoying our videos, and it really does give me the impetus and the confidence to carry on with the content and keep producing that. So if you want us to keep producing the content and you want to show your support, liking, subscribing, ordering from our lovely website, all of those things are a massive help. So thank you so much to everyone. And perhaps you might have friends or family that you know that might like this channel, so why not share it with them as well, and let's keep building the excitement and enthusiasm for sewing through these videos. So let's get started with the questions then. So the first one I'm going to answer is by Myrna Burgoyne, who said she's returning to sewing her own wardrobe after a break while raising 4 children over about 25 years. She's now confused about the difference between misses and women's sizes, and she said sizing and fitting is her biggest issue, so she'd love to be more clear on this. Well, I don't think you're alone in that one, Myra. It is the biggest issue for most people, fitting. With regards to the misses and the women's patterns, they're both proportioned for 5'5" to 5'6" figures. However, the women's patterns are designed for a slightly more mature figure. But really and truly, I wouldn't worry too much about those labels. My mother-in-law's 70 and I'm nearly 40 next week or the week after. And we don't worry about those labels. What we look at is the sizes on the back of the pattern packet. So you need to take measurements for your bust, waist and hips and identify, is your size available in that pattern, and work from there. And the likelihood is you are going to need to make fit adjustments, because how many of us are actually the standard size? What is that? Is there such a thing? Not really. So, you know, I wouldn't worry too much about misses versus women's, but I'd think more about, is your size there on the pattern packet? And then we'll talk about how you can work on honing your fit and learning about that as well. There are also petite patterns for women who are 5'4" and under. So if you are under 5'4", it might be worth considering those. But if you're not and you're over 5'4", you're 5'5", 5'6" or upwards, misses or women's are going to be better for you, and then you probably just need to spend some time trying to work out what fit adjustments you might need to make. And a really wonderful resource for doing that I highly recommend, which is my Bible, is this, which is the Complete Guide to Fitting by Palmer and Pletch. So they use the tissue fitting method, but regardless, which is where you try on the pattern tissue, but regardless of whether you want to do that or not, there's just an absolute fount of knowledge in there. You know, all sorts of things, from sort of giving you the context of fit, how our bodies change with age, why things are drafted for certain sizes and how that works, and then they take you through helping to identify where your fit issues might be and how to resolve those as well. So it really is worth getting that book and spending some time reading it and starting to understand some of the concepts for yourself. And then beyond that, you know, just being prepared really to try and have the patience to try and give yourself the time to go through that process of trial and error, testing, experimenting, learning as you go. And you know, I speak from experience, and I know how frustrating it can be when you first start sewing. You just want to get on with the sewing, you know, you don't want to be faffing around with the pattern and trying to understand about the fit. But really and truly, if you can just give yourself the time to do that and have a go and learn, make mistakes, learn from mistakes, you know, you'll get there in the end, and you'll still hone it and fine tune it. I'm no expert, you know, I've been sewing for 6 years now, and there's still things, new things that I learn and new things I'll try and improve that fit that little bit more. But you know, if you can embrace it and kind of enjoy that aspect of it, you know, it just makes the whole journey a lot more enjoyable, really. So I definitely would have a look at getting a book like that to sort of start getting your head around some of the adjustments you might need to make, or some of the areas that might be an issue for you. So I hope that helps, Myrna, and lots of luck with your new sewing journey. You've got so much fun ahead of you. Grace, who's one of our regular viewers, also asked about the tissue fitting method. I thought that warrants a video of its own, Grace, so I will do that at some point. I'll show you the foundations and the basics. I'm not an expert in that method, but I'll show you what I've learned and how I apply it, and I'll do another video on that at another time. I'll do a little tutorial. So thank you for that question. Annette Coburn asked about, she said, could she ask how much I'm influenced by the high street when I want inspiration for my handmade garments, and also would I consider doing an over 50s pattern pairing vlog anytime? Annette said she wants to look reasonably current, but sometimes finds indie patterns seem too young for her, or they're very boxy loose styles. So the first bit of the question, the high street influence, absolutely 100%. I am massively influenced by the high street. Like you, Annette, you know, I want to feel that the things I make are contemporary and modern, could look like, you know, I've just bought them from, you know, one of those nice high street stores. So I very much get a lot of inspiration from there. What I usually do is I usually look in my wardrobe and think, you know, what are those days, what are those occasions when I open the wardrobe doors and I stand there and think, oh, I don't want to wear that again, I've worn that loads recently, I haven't really got anything else suitable for this. You know, is it a lunch date with a friend? Is it going out for a meal in the evening with my husband? Is it going to the park at the weekend with the kids? You know, what are those occasions where I really struggle and I've got those gaps in my wardrobe? And then I'll come up with the idea. So I might think, oh, I just haven't got enough day dresses for work. I'd really like to make a ditzy jersey wrap dress, you know, just some vague idea of what I want to do. And then I'll just type that into Google, ditzy jersey wrap dress, click on the images tab, and that will bring up a whole host of different ideas and inspiration from high street shops that I'll start looking around, maybe pinning. You could go on Pinterest and type those words in as well, and then that really starts to get the inspiration going, and I start looking at the design details, the hem length, the fit. You know, I get a clear idea in my head of, oh yeah, I'm spotting a pattern here, this is really appearing in lots of the shops, okay, that's the sort of thing I'm looking for. And then I take that information to our website and I start searching through our patterns and fabrics and pairing them up and identifying which ones are going to work for that look. So I'll create a pin board and start pinning the patterns on there. So I've got my ideas together, and that works really well for me. In terms of the over 50s query, I think I just wanted to recommend a great account on Instagram that I think you might find really inspirational and helpful, and it's called Sew Over 50, SEW Over 50, and it was launched by 3 lovely ladies, one of whom I know really well, and they launched that account because they sort of really were sort of saying age is just a number, and you know, we don't want to be defined by our age, and we want to be able to wear what we want to wear, you know, because we like it or we feel good in it, rather than being defined by our age. And and there's lots and lots of women who share things that they've made, and lots of different thought-provoking sort of little competitions and things like that take place on there, and it really is a massive hub and hive of inspiration and ideas and just lovely people that you could learn from and share ideas with. So I definitely recommend getting on there. Also do what I do and have a look at some of your favourite high street shops online. Maybe think about shops that use models of all different ages, because sometimes it does help to see things on a more diverse range of models rather than somebody, it does help to see them on a more diverse range of models. So maybe have a look on shops that that you like and that they do use models of all different ages. That might help get that inspiration going a bit more as well. And also, the other thing I would suggest is just have a look in your wardrobe. We've all got those few things that we love wearing, and go for time and time again, and just have a look at those and think, well, which are those items for me? Why do I like them? What is it? Is it the fit? Is it the design? Is it the style? Is it the colour? Is it the print? And start to build that understanding of what you like and what you feel suits you and what you feel good in, and that can really help as well. So I hope that's helped give you some ideas and some inspiration, Annette, and I hope you have lots of fun at developing your style and coming up with some new ideas for your handmade wardrobe. The next question is from Heidi Robidoux. Sorry Heidi, I've probably said that wrong, but Heidi asked, she said she's an average sewer looking to sew her first pair of pants or trousers with a waistband and zipper, not elastic waist. What would I recommend, either indie or big four? What I would say, Heidi, is I wouldn't worry so much about indie or big four. I'd think more about design details and how much of a simple project it's going to be. I think where indie versus big four is relevant is the construction. So if that's what you're referring to, if you're thinking, I'm not sure about the construction, generally I do find that the instructions on the indie patterns are better than on the big four. However, you get a lot more choice on the big four, and I tend to favour big four for that reason, because I just feel like there's so many more designs to choose from. The other thing I'd mention as well is that really with sewing trousers, the construction isn't the main issue. The construction actually is pretty straightforward for most trousers. The issue is more to do with the fit. So from that point of view, I would say consider making looser fitting trousers, because they're a lot easier to fit. If you want to make something really fitted, obviously it's a lot more difficult to get that right. Whereas if you go for a loose fit design, that is a lot easier to get that fit right. Have a look at the line drawings, just make sure. You might want to consider things like, you might just want like a normal trouser or skirt zip or concealed zip rather than doing a lapped zip on your first attempt, because that's a little bit more involved. And if you can keep those design details really simple, that might help you in the construction side of things. Be prepared to make a toile as well, a practice run. I know that can feel a bit boring or annoying or whatever, but certainly worth doing. It doesn't have to be a perfect fully made up garment. You can just make a rough toile with the main features on and just try them on and just see what the fit's like, and I'd really highly recommend that. I did have a think about an indie trouser pattern that I thought might be useful. Tilly and the Buttons is renowned for making patterns that are really easy to understand and follow, and she designed the Jessa trousers, which are a wide leg trouser. They are a bit more fitted around the hips and waist, but have heard really good reviews of that pattern. I think we've still got it on our website, so you can check it out there. It might have a lap zip as well, but it is labelled as for improvers, so that could be a possible one. And then there's also a simplicity pattern that came out fairly recently, which has just got a simple waistband and a wide leg, and that is 9235, so that might be worth having a look at. But I think in a nutshell, be prepared to make a toile. Be prepared to, you know, have a bit of trial and error, make mistakes and learn as you go. And you know, think about the design details and keeping it simple. If you're worried about the construction, just look for a simple pattern, you know, without a lap zip and maybe without pockets or whatever, just so you can just focus on getting the fit right. And the other little nugget of information I'd give you is that Closet Core Patterns have got some really exceptional fitting guides for trousers and jeans on their blog. I used their trouser fitting guide when I made my first pair of jeans, and it was phenomenal. I made about 3 of the adjustments. They all worked like a dream, and the trousers fit me brilliantly, so I'd highly recommend having a look at those. We do stock all of her patterns as well, so if you had a look at that and you thought, oh, I'm going to make, she's got a pair of trousers called the Sasha trousers, and you thought, oh, I want to make those, they're on our website and available to buy as well. So I hope that helps, Heidi, and I hope you have lots of fun at making your first pair of trousers. Mara Thorne asked if I was comfortable telling you whether I was already a sewist before I got married or whether I got into sewing under the influence of my mother-in-law. Absolutely totally comfortable with answering that, Mara, no problem at all. So when I first got married, I didn't sew. The only thing I'd ever sewn was my a tea cosy and a peg bag in a home economics class when I was probably about 12. And I hadn't really sewn anything since then. And then a couple of years after I got married, we had kids, and when I had my second child, it was just before I had my second child, I decided to take voluntary redundancy from my old job. It would have involved travelling all over the country, and it was pressurised and long hours, and I just thought, for me personally, it wasn't going to combine well with having 2 young children. So I was very lucky that I was able to make that decision, stayed at home, focused on the kids, and then it was when my second child got to about 1, I decided to start getting a bit more involved in the family business. Started looking at the marketing and that side of things, and thought, well, you know, really I need to learn to sew if I'm going to do this. You know, I really want to understand the products, use them myself, and it was just a good time for me really to start getting into it. So Angela came and helped me, my mother-in-law. She gave me a few lessons and taught me the basics, and then I just sort of got on with it then from there. In the evenings, you know, every week regularly I'd get on the sewing machine. I'd always be making something. Angela would get lots of phone calls, or I'd bring it into work and say, what do I do about this bit? But yeah, that's how the journey started. So no, I wasn't into it before I got married, and it was like the influence of my mother-in-law and really wanting to get involved in the business and help out there that kind of inspired it, and it was just the right time for me as well. I've never looked back, absolutely love it, still totally addicted. So I think we're going to have to draw it to a close there, guys, because there were so many more questions, but you know, we'd be here all day, and I'll break it down into some more videos for you. But once again, thank you so much to everybody who took the time to ask a question. If you've got any more that you'd like to ask, do pop them in the comments below, and we'll keep this series running until we've answered them all. If you like what you see today, please like and subscribe, and I'll look forward to seeing you next time.